Hi, good evening. This is May 15th, 2019. Called meeting to order, Tewksbury Conservation Commission. First meeting on the agenda is approval of minutes from May 1st, 2019. And we'll table that. We have a lot of continuances tonight, so I'm just going to go through them at the top of the hour, and probably maybe a little later on if I see other people showing up. But we have a request for continuance from a continued public hearing. Notice of intent, John Veneros, BTGOG LLC, 2131 Main Street, map 96, lot 53, DEP 3051070. Can I get a motion to continue to the June 5th?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I have another request for continuance to make June 5th. This is a public hearing, a continued public hearing, notice of intent for Richard Montori, Town Manager, 984 Main Street, map and lot 4779, 4780, 4881, and 4893, DEP 3051073. I'll get a motion to continue to June 5th.
Motion to continue.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next one is also requesting continuance to June 5th. This is a continued public hearing, notice of intent, Southern End Realty, 1420 Andover Street, map 39, lot 10, DEP 3051076. Can I get a motion to continue to
Motion
June
to
5th?
continue.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Another one to June 5th, continued public hearing, notice of intent, John Fineros, AAC Realty, 1037 North Street, and 1547, 1553, 1563 Andover Street, map 39, lots 45 through 48, DEP 3051077. I get a motion to continue to June
Motion to
5th?
continue.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And our last known continuance is for public hearing, abbreviated notice of resource area delineation. ANRAD, Mark Ginsberg, 300 Ames Pond Drive, map 66, lot 12, DEP number 3051080. Can I get a motion to continue to June 5th?
Motion to continue.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, so the next item on our agenda that should be here, hopefully, is a public hearing, notice of intent, Thomas DeCoco, 85 Leighton Lane, map 79, lot 51, DEP 3051079. How you doing? Just come up here and introduce yourself for the record, please.
Sit there.
Yep, that'd be great. Just your name and address for the record.
Thomas DeCoco, 85 Leighton Lane, Tewksbury.
Sure. Can you just catch us up on what you're trying to do while I'm finding the paperwork?
I'm sorry,
Catch
sir.
us up on what you're trying to do while I find the paperwork.
I'm going to try to put on a two-car detached garage.
All right. And Stefania, while I get my cards in order, do you have any special concerns about this?
So I just want to note it is within the floodplain.
Yes, ma'am, yes, it is.
Yep, they have provided flood storage for the flood storage that will be lost.
Excellent.
It looks like it is at the correct elevations from what I can tell in the application as well.
Great.
The only things that I will note is that when I was on site, I did notice the wetland flags are on the lawn. That probably has to do with the soils. I have a picture right here. So you can see that the wetland flags are actually in the middle of the lawn.
Right.
And then the other thing I'll note is just I noticed some like lawn clippings in the wetland.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a problem everywhere I go. I would just recommend that that is stopped and that you find another place for it.
Okay.
And then I would recommend
I mean,
erosion controls.
Should we be talking about maybe making a little bit more of a no disturb zone on that land to prevent it? Or, yeah, I
That
say it's
would-
lawn area, but is it actually protecting the wetlands, or are we having a lot of issues of stormwater drain off and all that, that needs a little bit extra protection?
You can also see the shed would be within, a little bit within the wetland, and the no disturb zone. And I'm sure it's just been like this for years.
Sure.
So I guess that would be up to the commission, but it is definitely wet back there.
Mr. Chairman, I would suggest that the shed be moved. I don't know if is there gasoline in the shed, or,
No, sir, no. There's a lawn tractor, a lawnmower.
but there's
I've been there
gasoline in the
for-
lawn tractor.
Yes, correct,
Yeah.
right,
So-
correct.
My suggestion was to move that shed forward out, because according to the plan, it's in the wetland. So
Yeah.
either remove
It
the
has
shed.
been there probably I've been there over 40 years. When we first got it, when I first bought that house, I don't think it was wetlands. I don't know if that makes a difference, but back in '78 when I bought it, it wasn't wetlands. I had and I put the shed there, and since then, because of, all the building up north at Ames and whatnot, and then
But you're also in a floodplain, too.
I was in yes, but it wasn't white. There used to be a little brook back there, like I said, over 40 years ago, but over the course of time, they declared it a wetland. Hey, how are you doing? Like I said,
That's one of the
The shed's
concerns
been
I
there.
have is the shed is in, might as well be might be a houseboat.
it's not permanent, but yeah, it could be moved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think basically what
Right.
Mr. Holland's trying to say is now that we have an opportunity to clean up the site and protect your land and protect your property a little bit more, maybe now it's the opportunity to kind of like resituate the land, put things out of the no-build zone and no-disturb zone, establish a no-disturb zone maybe, so your lawn clippings and erosion do not go into the wetlands, and also protect your property from future flooding, just kind of like move things away. So that would, first and foremost, I would want to move that shed. I think I agree with Mr. Holland, but also establish some sort of greater barrier between your property and the wetlands and the flooding. Does that make sense to you?
It does, it makes sense.
Right. Just to protect your property, protect your land, your neighbors from the flooding and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's just a good opportunity just to clean things up.
Right, if I had a garage, I could probably take the things out of the shed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep,
That's,
yeah.
that would be a
All right,
possibility.
great. Let's think of that while we go around the corner and,
So do you want to just move the shed or remove it altogether?
Well, I wouldn't want to remove, if I had the garage or whatever's in the shed, I could probably put in the garage.
Yeah.
And then I could probably, move it. I haven't thought of moving it, only, like I said, it's been over 40 years.
Yeah.
I've never thought of really moving it, but if that's what it takes, I could probably try to relocate it, sure.
Okay,
I don't know how I would do it, but I would try,
I know.
absolutely, yeah.
okay.
I'm good, Steve.
yep, Mr. Sheehan?
The other question, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. You all set?
Is the brush,
Yep, hold on,
Oh.
let's
ahead.
let Dennis finish, just
Okay.
have your thought. Yep, go ahead.
No, I think it'd be a good idea to move the shed,
Okay. Yep. And Mr. Holland, any other questions?
all the brush that's in the back?
Yeah, that's why I was like thinking if we establish kind of like more of a no
Right.
disturb zone, just kind of like let it grow
So-
back naturally.
You won't be throwing your leaves or your branches or anything else back there,
No,
okay? And like Mr. Deckloff said,
Yeah.
we do have to establish, and I do believe that we should have it permanently marked.
Right. So, what is this? Is this a notice of intent? Yeah, it's good thing. If there's anyone in the audience to be heard on the matter? Hearing none. Do we want to, wouldn't want to put you through the expense of another plan, but I'm like saying maybe a 25. I mean, I don't know. It's like, I mean, 10. I'm like, I mean, to make the whole no disturb zone, I mean, that would be ideal. But I'm just like taking a look at how much property is like been using the shed. Have to really, yeah. I don't know, what do you guys think for establishing a no disturb zone on the property to kind of like get things back? Like maybe 10 feet, 15 feet, you think? Like, it would have been 10 feet back in the day, right?
Yeah.
So just kind of like establish a 10-foot no disturb zone on that line right there. Have them put in permanent demarcation, just stop doing anything. Don't have to like do any clearing. So on this map, there's a green line.
Yes.
Okay, that's the wetland flags.
Okay.
We want to establish a 10-foot no disturb zone along that line.
Okay.
So 10 feet away from that flag, I want you to put up flags yourself. Temporary flags, just to let you know your workers and whatnot, that this is going to be a no disturb zone.
Okay.
Right? So at some point during construction, before you get your certificate of compliance, you need to establish some permanent demarcation along there, okay? You can work with Stefani on what permanent demarcation is, but it's basically something to prevent people from using that section of your property in the future.
Okay.
So that it can return to its natural state and make a natural barrier to protect the wetland resources and things that are happening on your property. You know, erosion, you know, might have a big rainstorm, get a little river of erosion. You don't want to go straight into the wetlands. It's going to bang, stop right there at no disturb. Does that make sense?
So you're saying from that green line, 10 feet?
10 feet towards your property, towards Leighton Lane.
No, not,
Right.
they can't work anywhere within that?
Correct.
Okay.
Right, you want to establish a no disturb zone. You can put up orange netting if you want, any
I
sort
see.
of,
Okay.
any sort of temporary demarcation, just to let know the workers, hey, you can't go beyond here.
I hear
Like one of the
you.
little
Yep,
orange
I
fences,
understand.
right? Then boom.
Okay.
And then at the end of it, we'll, you know, you want permanent demarcation. Make it look as pretty as you want. You could like put a, 2 or 3 feet of bark mulch along the back of it and plant some bushes so that you never even know it's there. You know, something of that nature,
But
make it
10
look
feet
nice.
from that?
10 feet from the wetland flags, right?
Okay.
All right,
Yep.
super. And move the shed, right?
Yeah, I got
All
that.
right, great. Yeah, because that's right in the do not disturb. So it's right on the wetland. Apparently it's in the wetland, according to this,
Right,
right?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
half of it's in the wetland.
Yeah,
All
like I said,
right.
it's been there 40 years,
Right.
yeah.
So if you could move that shed outside of that newly established no disturb, you can put it anywhere you want. All right?
Okay.
Sounds good. Does that feel good to the commission? Yeah, you're
I'm comfortable.
with that?
I'm good.
So this is a public hearing, no one rising. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
Close.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. And as for the application, and I get a motion to approve and to issue
Have
a
we had any
standard order.
discussion on the addition, on the,
sorry. Oh,
we haven't had any discussion on what he's actually doing. This isn't
Oh,
just for
I'm
the
sorry.
shed. He's building something.
did we close the public hearing? Shoot. Okay. What do I do?
You can still have your discussion about
Yeah, we can
the,
still have
right,
discussion.
you don't need to
Discuss it,
read.
Just no public input, okay. Right. So what's going on? I'm sorry. I just saw that it was outside of the 50, there was a section of it a little bit inside the 50-foot no build, but other than that, and there was some volume of filling, and they're going to compensate for that, I heard, right? Area to be
If I
reviewed.
could add, Mr. Chairman, I'm
Sure.
Steve Stupinski from Merrimack Engineering. I prepared
All
the
right.
plan. The garage, the closest point to the wetland is going to be 57.7. So he's outside the 50-foot no build with it.
Yep,
And
Oh, that's the existing house, I'm sorry.
Right,
Yep.
and we actually have the silt fence or the compost filter stock being set right off the 50-foot no-build line. So there's a very small area that's going to be disturbed. There's 90 cubic feet of floodplain filling, and on the side, we're going to regrade the side of the garage so that there'd be 91 cubic feet of compensation. So there'll be no loss of flood storage in 1 cubic foot garnered.
Right.
That's basically it, and then the disturbed area will be just reseeded, loomed and reseeded.
Sounds like a great plan. That was your understanding, right? All that's gonna go on? All right. So, anyway, so you feel okay about that? With the plan? There's gonna be a little bit of fill, but they're gonna put in some compensatory flood storage.
I have no problem with that.
And everything's outside of the 50, and moving the shed.
And, well, that's what he is, in that shed.
All set? Sorry for closing it so soon. I got a little over anxious. So can I get a motion for to approve and or issue a standard order of conditions with 2 special conditions, that a permanently demarcated no disturb zone be established 10 feet away from the wetland flags, permanent demarcation to be determined with our agent Stefania, and to move the shed outside of the do not disturb zone, actually outside of the 25, outside of the do not disturb zone,
We're gonna
the
add
10 feet away.
Within the 10 feet that we just added, correct?
Yeah, outside of
So
our.
10 feet from where it is now?
Right, yeah,
Okay.
just,
It's gonna be more than 10 feet because you're already in the wetlands.
right. He's to move it outside of the newly established no disturb zone.
Correct.
Preferably a little bit further than that.
Okay,
Roughly about 16 feet
okay.
towards the house.
Could it be once the garage is built, so I could put whatever's in that, in the shed, in the garage, and I can just take down the shed?
Yeah, so before you come in for the certificate of compliance, we just want that newly established line to be permanently demarcated and no more activity behind there, and it should start growing naturally.
Okay.
And then you will have moved your shed out and emptied it. Then you can establish all that good stuff. He's already got erosion protection, so you're all set with anything happening during construction.
Okay.
All right? So, yeah, you can move it before you come in for your certificate of compliance.
And what is the certificate of compliance?
We're going to be filing your notice of intent, and you're going to be filing it at the Registry of Deeds, and then we're going to come back with that filing, give it to Stefania, and she's going to give you the okay, and you're going to get your building permit. All right?
Okay.
Once you get your building permit, to get that deed, that on your deed will be your notice of intent, standard order of conditions. To remove that, you need a certificate of compliance, or else it'll be on your deed until you get that certificate of compliance. You don't have to get it, but then there might be problems selling your property in the future, so just get rid of it now and just clear up your title and just make sure everything's okay. Does that make sense, what's happening?
Yeah, I'm
Does
just
that make
totally
sense to you?
confused,
Do you
to be
understand?
honest with you.
Yeah, I'll explain.
I'm totally
Okay.
confused.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm
Stefania
sorry.
will guide you through it.
I've
Stefania
been
will
in
help
this
you
town
too.
45 years, I've never been in the town hall. This is like the second time I've
There
been
you
in the
go.
town hall.
And Stefania is very helpful.
I'm sure she
She'll bring you
is.
right through that, and it'll see- your contractor seems to know what's going on.
This
I don't-
confusing. but-
Yeah, there won't be any problems. It's not really confusing, just a little paperwork to shuffle around, but, you know, and at the end of the day, you're gonna be coming before us, or your agent is, coming in for a certificate of compliance. By the time they do, your property should be all set
Okay.
for an inspection. Come in, looks great. You'll come before us, we'll get your certificate, and you'll go down and file your paperwork and do all the stuff, and Stefania can help you out with all that.
Okay,
I mean, tell you what, not do it for you, but tell you what you need to do, right?
okay.
Okay. So we have a motion on the
Steve.
table. Yes, sir.
I don't know, just before we put anything, when I'm looking here at the picture and what the flag is, there's stagnant water back here. It looks like the back of the shed is all watered. Okay, you can see where it's watered. To move this thing, let's say 15, 20 feet, I think maybe we ought to put in something that if he can't move it, he can take it down and get rid of it. I don't think you're gonna be able to move it.
I would include that into, all right, move or remove, we'll
Yeah,
modify.
because I don't
Okay.
think you're gonna be able to move this. This thing looks like it's saturated, and it's leaning down in the,
It's
leaning
been
down.
there over 40 years, like I said, it's been there
Yeah,
over
you know what I mean,
40
sir?
years.
Hey, I mean, to give you the option that,
All right,
to move this thing, I don't know. You wouldn't be able to get a, let's see.
I probably would have to take it down.
I think so.
Yeah, I'd
I
probably
think-
have to
so
take it
move,
down.
move or replace, we'll change that.
I
This-
think so, Steve.
Yeah, the, was that the second condition, to remove or replace, to
Yes.
move the shed outside of our newly established no disturb zone, or remove it
Good.
entirely.
Yeah, good.
All right. Everyone okay with that? Can I get a motion for that effect?
Motion as stated.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
So
Yeah.
what happens now?
You have to wait a few days for the paperwork to go through. There's an
like
appeal, there's a 10-day appeal period. She'll help you out.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
All righty. Next item on the agenda is a, where are we? Did I get everything? Notice of intent, Jack Barabee, John Paul Construction, Inc., 29 Sandy Lane, map 94, lot 361, DEP number 3051081. Hi, good evening. Can you just state your name and address for the record, please?
Thank you. Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Jack Barabee, 2543 Main Street in Tewksbury. What I just gave you was, it's a plot plan that was used when I went to Board of Appeals to get some approval. So it basically shows the existing condition with some setbacks and whatnot and what I'm proposing to do, just so you kind of had something to compare to what's there. So what I'm planning to do is raise the existing structure, which the main original part was built in about 1926, to remove that and then construct a new single-family home of basically the same square footage.
About 35 feet is the closest to the wetland on this map?
Yeah, yes. For the new one, the existing's like 34 and change, so
17.
we gained about a foot.
Okay, so it's further, so the other one was 17 feet away, and this is going to be 21 feet away.
Oh, yeah.
So we're further away. We're not doing any crazy yard work back there, right?
No?
Are we going to have like a no disturb zone, like establish something from those wetland flags? They're off your property mostly. So looks like the wetland's pretty much off your property. I don't know if we want to establish anything on it.
There is a fence, I think,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's partially on part of it, or, I know it's in the back, so that would be a barrier.
Okay, so you got.
I mean, it's an old fence. I'm
Yeah.
gonna replace, I'll probably put like a post and rail fence up or something like that.
Oh, you're gonna
You guys are
keep
fine
a
with that?
fence there to keep people out of the wetlands?
Yeah, I
and the
think a
wetland
post and
floods.
rail fence would be appropriate,
Sounds good.
if you're fine with that.
Yeah, yeah,
Just to kind of keep people from wandering in.
right. All right, Mr. Holland, do you have any questions?
Now, is the current dwelling on town sewer, or is that a
Yes,
septic?
yeah.
It is,
Yep.
so the new dwelling's going to be on
Yep.
town sewer. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Mr. Mercer?
nope, looks like we're a foot further away, so that's good.
Yeah, we're a little closer to the street, but we do, with a little give and take.
All right, Mr. Ippolito?
I think I might want to buy the house.
Okay, do you get the picture?
Beautiful, house is in great shape.
It's
That's
a
the-
pretty little house.
I see a nice big French drain you got in the front where the double driveway is.
That's what I'm
gonna
gonna
put
put
a
in
bid in for
there.
this thing, yeah,
Huh?
really. Nice looking home.
Nice.
I'm fine.
All right, Mr. Sheehan?
I'm good.
Set. So this is a public hearing. Anyone to be heard on the matter? I think we're pretty much all set. So can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. And as for the application, do I hear a motion for standard order approval with a standard order of conditions? Any specials, conditions?
Fence, right?
Yeah,
gonna do
we're
the
all
fence.
set with specials, so just standard order of conditions?
So moved.
So moved, second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Good luck.
Great, thanks for your time.
Next item on the agenda is a continued request for certificate of compliance, J.J. Phelan and Sons, 1029 East Street, map 103, lot 129, DEP 305841.
I don't see them here, so I'm assuming that they are not coming tonight, so we might want to continue this.
How many times have we continued this?
It seems like quite a few.
So this was continued from September because we were waiting on the replication area to grow.
Okay.
And then it was continued from our September meeting to an April meeting.
Okay.
And that's why they've been continuing because there was no growth in April.
Okay.
And it's possible that they just forgot that they continued to June. Or it's not June, May.
So can we send them a notice and we'll continue it to the next meeting? Just
Yeah,
make
I can
sure
talk.
that,
June 5th, right?
What's that?
On June 5th, you think, well, just,
Mm-hmm.
or do you want to give them to the third week of June? Or
Well,
the
we
next
can,
meeting?
any week in June doesn't
Yeah.
make a difference, as long as we know that, I don't want to keep continuing this until next February or something. Yeah.
Right, I will follow up with the representative for this and find out.
Okay, so why don't we continue it to the next meeting? If there is a change, they can notify Stefania, but I'd like to have the whole thing all squared away by the end of June.
Sounds good to me.
Yep, I agree.
What do you think, Stefani? Are they going to be able to react quickly enough, or are we going to get ourselves in a situation where we're just going to be continuing again?
When you say finish, everything squared away by the end of June, did you want this to be kind of,
Well, according to what the pictures, it looks like it's growing back. Do you have any concerns?
yes, so I don't think it's growing back to the standards of what a replication area should be growing back. So it should be growing back with 75% wetland species, and there's only a few plants in there.
Okay, so then,
So
We're
that,
probably
yeah.
not going to wrap these things
No.
up, so why don't we just tell it, do it till the next fall,
Yeah.
give it the summer and a growing season, see what happens, come back in October.
Okay.
Does that sound reasonable, or are they going to balk at that? Well, they're not here to.
Yeah, they're not here to,
Well, if you don't think it's growing, it's not going to grow in 2 weeks, so why don't we like continue to the first meeting in October or something like that, give it the summer. Does that make sense? You know, rather than waste.
And
our
we should
time
reach
and
out.
time.
We should reach out, maybe.
I would think, I would
Yeah.
suggest that we reach
Well,
out to them.
so if we continue to the first meeting of October, are we having them do anything? Like, do you want to see a report that,
Well, we should see something if we're making any progress on it.
right? Because if it just stays the way it is, then October, the same plants are going to be there.
Okay, so
So-
we'll do June 5th, say if they want to come in front of the board and tell us what's going on. Otherwise, we'll make a decision then whether we'll just continue it to October
Well,
or
either-
take other measures.
We do the 5th of June, if they don't show up, we can just deny the certificate of compliance.
Right, well, we'll cross that bridge. June 5th, hopefully we can reach out to them, figure out what's your plan. We're very concerned, and let us know.
Okay.
All right?
So moved.
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion to continue to
So
June
moved.
5th, seconded.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. All right. Next item on the agenda is a request for Request for non-substantial change to order of conditions, Strongwater Farm, 500 Livingston Street, map 74, lot 2, DEP 3051039. Hi, good evening. Just your names and addresses for the record, please.
Peter Ellison with TEC, 146 Dascom Road, Andover, Mass.
Yes, my name is David Warr, 1 Seneca Circle in Andover. I'm president of the board of Strongwater Farm.
All righty. So what do we have, what non-substantial change are we talking about here?
There are 3 minor changes to the plans that were presented to you, I think, about a year and a half ago. 2 of them are stormwater-related changes. It's been a wet few months here. Dave is over at the site quite a bit, so he looks out and sees the mud and stormwater and all the issues, and I think recently reached out to me to try to address some of those, try to get ahead of it now, get in front of your commission before we get out there. So 2 of the changes are stormwater. One is to just extend the French drain system around the backside of the building. It's, I think, 168 linear feet of French drain. The second stormwater change is to install 3 additional area drains between the existing barn and the new proposed riding arena. As far as overall stormwater changes, the way the stormwater was modeled and designed, this affects it not at all. It's all still going to the same places. We're still using an infiltration basin and sediment forebay to treat the stormwater. It's just a better way to manage and collect the stormwater, essentially. The third change is to slightly increase the building footprint, and I'll let Dave expand on the purpose of that, but the footprint would be expanding by 288 square feet, which is about 2% increase of the total building size. Dave, do you want to talk about the purpose of that?
Certainly. There was a question raised apparently by your engineer about the stalls and the horses there. The number of stalls is not being increased. The original proposal, there are 3 stalls, 12 by 12, which is about 450 square feet out of a total of about 3,000 square feet in the L-shaped building. It looks like one building on the plan, but there's actually 2 buildings. The one is the arena, which is 80 by 160 feet, and then there's this L-shaped building, which is about 2/3 office and the rest with 3 stalls. In addition to the 3 stalls, there's a grooming area, and we all of a sudden discovered we didn't have an area for tack. So if we took the saddle off, where are we going to put it? So we decided to push the building out another 12 feet, another bay, to incorporate a tack area.
Okay.
The stalls are not stalls that the horses stay in 24 hours a day. They're a holding stall, so if we bring horses down for a lesson, and they're in the exact lesson, we may have 3 horses coming down for the next lesson. We can put them in the holding stall until the one lesson is finished. So it's sort of a round robin that we move them around. So in essence, we have a tack room, a grooming stall, 3 stalls, and the rest is basically office, where the actual front door of Strongwater is being moved from the barn down to Greenhouse Road. So when someone comes down Livingston Street, they're going to see Strongwater Farm in the office. We were aware of the issue of stalls on this site when we did the planning. I would have preferred to have L be closer to Livingston so the office was closer, but we knew that there were going to be horses there for some period of time during the day. So we moved the stalls to the back of the backside of the site, which is out of the buffer zone.
So it's a 2% increase in the building size, but it's all outside the buffer zone.
Correct.
Yes.
Right. So, Stefania, do you see any issues with this at all? I don't see anything.
No, I mean, I did speak to the town engineer. He did say that he would think that this is a non-substantial change. He just mentioned his one concern about the contaminants, but.
Let me address the issue of.
Are they aware of the concern?
Yep.
Okay.
Let me address the issue of manure. What we do now and have done historically is we have a dumpster that we put the manure in, and then it's removed off-site by an off-site contractor. The stalls are cleaned in the morning, the material's put in there, and when the dumpster's full, they come and pick it up.
Great.
We expect the same thing here. We will be cleaning these stalls in the morning. Obviously, in the arena, you pick it up as you go along, but at least at the end of the day, everything would be picked up, probably stored in a cart and put either in the gator or in the bucket on the tractor and taken back up to the dumpster and disposed of and removed from the site. We have looked at and contemplated composting, but we're not ready for that one yet.
Got full-time farmers?
We'd love to do composting, but
Right.
we have a proposal, but it's one of the systems where they put air in underneath, so you don't have to turn it all the time.
Right.
All the time, because composting is very labor intensive and has to be really tracked. So for the present time, we're staying with the removal.
All right, sounds like a good plan. You think that's going to alleviate his concerns, right? Yep. All right, so anything else? All
No,
set?
I'm comfortable with the procedures that you have in place, so I think we don't have to worry about any continuation.
Okay, so I guess we just want to vote. Oh, go ahead, Tony, I'm sorry.
Excuse me. After reading Kevin Hartman's statement in his email, this is a little bit more of a concern. If you read what Kevin's saying, okay, it's very strong language with the Storm Management Act, Stephen. So as far as, I would like to see, and I'm familiar with the gentleman's talk because I live up the street. I would like the site plan, I'd like to see something more in detail and where this proposed building's gonna go and adjacent to the road. How many feet from the road is it? Because his email states very
Is it
strongly.
email, what?
Yeah.
You have a copy of it? Where is it?
Here's-
This thing?
Yep.
Oh.
It says manure, contaminant storm management runoff, consistently transport contaminants to nearby wetlands without treatment. Your information of attached message regarding pet waste on the second page. So he's gone into great detail, and I can fully understand because there's that area where the gentleman's talking about, across the way, there's hundreds of dogs up there that has become like a kennel. And I'd like to see something in this site more detail. I'm familiar with the horses, because I did a charity for that horse, so they can get up for their treatment, golf tournament. So I'd like to see some more in detail of what you guys are, so we can really get a better complex of what's happening here.
Well, all the manures would be in the building, except when the horses were walking back and forth from the barn.
Yeah, if I could elaborate on the town engineers, because I spoke to him in a conversation, so we kind of talked back and forth about it. And if you look at the site plans, it will show you the changes of where they want to put the catch basins and where it would then flow out to the wetlands. And I'm not an engineer, so I'm not going to be able to talk about this like an engineer, but.
See what?
C4.
C4?
Yep.
So his concern came from how it was proposed. The runoff would flow through the site and then eventually make it to the wetlands. So it would have all of that time to be treated before it got to the wetlands. Now it would go into catch basins and then be piped out and then be sent to the wetlands. So the amount of treatment it would receive by just flowing across the ground would be decreased. And I don't know if that makes sense, but.
That makes sense.
yeah.
But, I mean, so this is part of the change.
So that
is
is,
to the stormwater
yes.
management.
Right.
My personal opinion and the engineering opinion on this is the maintenance of the farm is, you know, cleaning up the manure after the horses and the like is just an ongoing maintenance consideration that the farm, I think, does a great job of. And, you know, there's no way to really prevent it from happening other than, you know, being attentive and doing the cleanup as needed.
But, yeah,
So
let
you
me-
can put in the best system in the world, but if you don't clean up after the horse, it's gonna be ineffective. So no matter what, you have to clean up after the horses. The more diligent, the less likely there is gonna be any runoff with contamination. So, all right. All right. What do you think, Tony? Still think on non-substantial change, or you wanna come in here all again and re-engineer it? It might actually end up being the same plan because Kevin Hardeman says it's okay with him. So if you make him come back with the
I'm
whole.
just judging by what
Yeah.
Kevin's explaining here.
Kevin explained it, but he also said in a comment to Stefania that it was okay, and it sounds like they're gonna be pretty diligent with the horse manure about keeping it out of the stormwater system, you know, entirely. That would be the concern if they're just dumping it into a
Yeah.
a pit. It's just like draining in, but they're not
Let
doing
me tell you
that.
what one of my concerns was and why I asked, one of the basic reasons I asked him to put it in. If you go out to the site, there's this beautiful stone wall that serves as the foundation for the buildings where our barn is and the building next to it. There's this stone foundation that comes all the way out to where their maintenance shed is.
Right.
And so you're stuck there with this big wall and this building sitting here, and if we get a big dump of snow in the winter and it starts to melt, the French drain system is designed to cover the water coming off the roof, but it's not designed to cover this 16 inches of snow that's melting out there. And I would just want to make sure we can get that out without having water running into the building and creating problems. I just soon face that issue now rather than later on.
What is the size of the building going up? How many stories?
One story.
One
It's
story.
12,800 square feet of arena and about 3,000 square feet in this L-shaped building.
15,000, say almost 16,000 square feet, yeah.
Now consider we've already approved this plan.
Yeah, right.
Correct.
So you're all set, you think? They're gonna be diligent about that horse manure.
Well, no, I'm looking at the existing compared to where the new building's
Right.
going, yeah.
Yeah, Pretty non-substantial,
I mean,
right?
he's got a gravel path going by and the whole 9 yards here.
All set?
Yeah,
Okay, so can I get a motion from you that this is a non-substantial change?
yeah.
Okay, second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Just want to get clarification.
We're actually going to build it this year.
Pardon me?
We're actually going to build it this year.
Excellent. Sure everyone's gonna like that. Good evening. Hi, next item on the agenda is a request for non-substantial change to order of conditions. Reed Atamian of Robert Atamian Realty Trust, Atamian Honda, 150 Main Street, map 11, lot 13, DEP 305879.
Hello.
Hi. Name and address for the record,
Sure.
please.
Doug Lees from Land Engineering and Environmental Services, 130 Middlesex Road in Tingsboro, here on behalf of the Atamian Honda up at 150 Main Street. They have an existing order of conditions that was issued some time ago and extended and amended and extended again, and now the building is going up and it's looking really nice. And during construction, as always, we've come upon some things that we wanted to tweak to try to make the drainage system work better.
You're real close there.
Close to being open, yes.
Yeah, no, close to being that, close to the wetlands too.
Well, there was 2 catch basins in the front of the building on the approved plan, and one of the changes, we want to make, just move one of them over here to the side of the building to kind of move the low spot over here to make the grading work a little better,
Yeah,
collect the runoff. And then there was a stormwater treatment, there was an existing catch basin here, all the runoff and the whole parking lot just came down and
Right.
outlet right into the wetland.
yeah,
And we proposed to put in a treatment chamber, and we had proposed it right up against the wetland, right up against the wall. Well, the wetlands have raised a little bit, the water's a little bit higher now than it was when we did the survey 5, 6 years ago now. But also just constructing it right next to the wall because of the sump in those goes down, it's pretty deep. Wanted to move it back away from the wall, upland a little bit more to give some more room to put it in, and then just have another manhole and just have the pipe outlet.
yeah. So
gotta
that's
make
a
it-
catch basin with, does that got that, stuff that's oil gas separator and all that good stuff?
Yeah, it's one of those it's one of those hydrodynamic separators that has a baffle in it. And it
Right, so that's not
recirculates
changing.
the water to make the sediment fall out.
Right.
It's the same unit, yeah, we're just moving it.
Same unit, just moving it.
Just moving it
All right,
further away
good.
from the,
Yep,
and then the only other change we're making is a little bit of change to the entrance sidewalk here, which, I mean, I don't know if the commission would even care about that, but it's just shifting some of the parking spots to accommodate the door location.
all right,
So that was it. That's everything else seems to be going pretty smooth. Sorry, you can
Great.
see
That's
it.
okay, I got it right here.
Yeah, pretty smoothly out there, so.
start on this side. Ms. Mercer, any,
No, I read the engineer's letter. Looks good to him, it looks good to me.
all right, Tony?
Stefania, comments from the town engineer. You got a letter from him?
You have it as well. It just states that he feels the changes are non-substantial.
It is a long letter, but at the end of the day, it's non-substantial, in his opinion.
Correct.
Right.
Oh, good.
All right, Dennis?
I'm fine.
Thank you.
Okay. So can I get a motion that this is a non-substantial change?
As stated.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
Have a great night.
You too.
When are you gonna open your plant, you know?
They were trying for the end of the month to have the new building ready to open, so they
Yeah,
can start.
it
But they have
was-
to raise the front building, so they're gonna have to work out the logistics of all that. But they're hoping
Yeah,
for the end of the month.
looks
so.
pretty nice, though. It's nice and modern.
It is, it's beautiful. It's
He's very thorough when he does.
quite the structure. Thank you.
You bet. Okay, so we have an extension request for order of conditions, Solitude Lake Management, Long Pond, DEP 3051007. This is our little cleanup effort is going well?
Yes.
All right.
So they're just looking for an extension.
For 1 year, 3 years?
3
what is it?
years, I'm assuming, yep.
Yep, because 3-year to June 1st, 2022, right?
Correct.
All right, so any issues other than, if there are no issues, can I get a request? Can I get a motion for a 3-year extension to the order to
As stated.
expire on June 1st, 2022?
As stated.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. All right. We have a continued local housing partnership designee. Oh, I'll volunteer. Anyone else?
I'm already on one, I don't need to be in there.
All right, the chair appoints Steve Dekoff. M, emergency certification ratification, E&D excavation, 692 East Street, map 89, lot 14. Have a situation with the septic system, I imagine?
Mm-hmm.
And so if there's no issues, can I get a motion to ratify the emergency certification?
Stated.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Next meeting on June 5th. Meetings are televised on Comcast
I have
Channel
one
8
more
and
thing.
Verizon Channel 38.
I have one more thing. Sorry, before we end.
Sure.
Let me,
You working for the cable companies?
No, there's some at the bottom. I think it was one of those public announcements. I
Yeah,
got to
we
make.
added. Okay. So last week I received a complaint. Everyone should have it in their binders.
Is that the one at the beginning?
Yes. So to sum up the complaint, it was about the Tewksbury Country Club and about an area where they are disposing of their grass, leaves, and branches. The area is next to vernal pools, wetlands, and a small stream. So I went out to the site and met John of the Tewksbury Country Club, and he took me out to the area that he thought they might have been referring to. So this area, there was some piles of leaves and some cut tree trunks, some pine needles, and it is next to the wetland. According to him, this was an area where they did historically store a lot of their yard waste, but about 8 years ago, they created a new area that's off the course and away from the wetland where they keep their stuff now.
So these look like maybe they're possibly just trees that they cut down and just sort of like shoved over there. You know,
Yeah,
like
the
a
trees
tree
looked
that
pretty
fell down.
old.
Yeah, it fell down, they chopped it, pushed it over to the side,
Yeah.
right? They're not like really using it as a dumping ground for clippings, is that what you think?
Well, he said, if anything, it's a temporary spot to put them until they can put them in their kind of new holding spot. In the last page of my inspection pictures, you'll see where they keep their clippings.
Right now, that's where it's supposed to be,
Right,
okay.
So-
Or where it will be, all right, good.
right. So, I mean, I just wanted to bring this to the commission because we did receive a pretty formal complaint.
So they're aware of the situation, they're aware of the complaint, they're staying
Right.
on top of it, and they know people are looking.
Right, and I told them I would bring it to the commission and let you guys decide on if you thought more action needed to be taken, or if you're satisfied with how things are there.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they keep throwing their clippings and whatnot into that area and not just chucking them out into the woods or whatnot, then I'm fine with it. As long as it's been brought to their attention. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of wetland issues and streams and whatnot flowing through there, so we have to give them some, well, it's a big, we can't be diligent on looking at everything, so, but yeah, we have to rely on people to report it. You reported it, we took action, right? You looked at it?
Yep, I looked at
Talked to the
it.
owners, they'll say, we won't do it anymore. Sounds good enough for me.
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's not like it's tires either, car tires, you know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
natural.
it's grass clippings, yeah. Yep, sir?
For a point, did, item L, did you go through that? Did I miss that?
That was me.
I know.
I designated myself the local housing.
No, I understand that,
Yeah.
but do we need to vote on anything?
No, it's just a appointment by the chair. Do you want to vote on it? No, and technically, it's an appointment by the chair, it doesn't require a vote.
No, I remember.
But I do take nominations, though. Okay,
Okay,
all right. So is that it, Melania?
All set.
Okay, now my public announcement. Next meeting, June 5th. Meetings are televised on Comcast Channel 8 and Verizon Channel 33. Thank you and good evening. Oh, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.